when you're talking to women, women typically speak from the highest place of desire. So basically, for example, you'll ask a woman, if you met a man and he couldn't fly you first class, but she's used to flying first class, she immediately rejects it because she's speaking from the place of actual comfort. But to Ty's point, the reality is outside, women are dealing with normal people. Like, this is just what it is. If you put the exchange from male to female on an app, you're absolutely going to see them do what they always do.
I think it's also a lack of being able to communicate clearly, to hold good intellectual conversations, to actually come and have a personality outside of their money. And that's what a lot of these men are running into. And it also has something to do with technology, right? They can put themselves out there. They look nice. They have good, nice things, and women like them for that. But once they get past the money, there is nothing else there. It's just like women who only have their beauty or their body. And then once you try to get, into a good conversation or learn their morals and the values, they have nothing to offer. That's also the issue. We have a lot of people nowadays who have nothing but what they have.
What if I told you we live in society where your height, where the you don't even get communication because you're being filtered by your height. You're automatically disqualified. You're automatically excluded from the algorithm of even being discovered because of a height, and you're not even getting conversation because you don't even earn enough to even have the conversation. You're not even getting access
outside.
On a level.
You get off the dating app and stop trying to let somebody swipe right or left on you and meet somebody in real life.
But my point is,
to have a real conversation.
And you at least address that women are filtering men before they even able to establish an intellectual conversation on a level to suggest that she should even deal with them, because they're already disqualifying them based on these factors: money, height, and all other disqualifiers. Can we at least admit that?
We can admit that in the dating world of today of dating apps. But in real
it's
life,
not just dating apps.
In real life, meeting someone on the street or at different events, and the guy, he might be short, a woman might instantly look at him and be like, I don't know. He'll start talking, make you laugh a little bit, catch you with a few little lines. He starts talking about something that's interesting, and now he has your attention. You have way more of a chance of getting a woman's attention who usually would not date you by meeting them in real life and actually having a conversation.
What happens next after the attention? What does she say?
Say it again.
What happens after he get her attention?
What you mean? What happens after
she gets her attention?
It's many different things that can happen. It's not just one response.
When the last time you dated somebody?
Why y'all can't just be honest, man?
What? I've been honest. It's many different things.
I don't think it goes down like.
She can walk away. It depends on how how he approaches.
How many times y'all seen women
certain men know how to approach women? They're smooth. They have more charisma. They're funny. You get what I'm saying? Like, it's women that are out here dating men that they never thought they would date just because they caught their attention in some other way. Like, I always feel like we always act like these things don't also happen. And for a lot of these men who are incels or whatever you want to call them, who don't find women, they have no personality. That's don't bullshit. Have the charisma. They aren't. You said what?
That's bullshit. See, you think incel means they don't have no personality or charisma. Incel is involuntary celibate. You just don't hit the signals that make you most desirable so you can get laid. It can be height. You can have $250,000, but if it's an overwhelming majority of women that want you to be 6 feet taller, you can become an incel. You don't even know it.
It's almost like you make $250,000. You gonna find somebody that like
you. That's where we're living in two different realities.
And that's literally based off of what y'all are
almost like y'all got incel. Y'all got incel.
Are you a woman?
Y'all are misrepresenting that term incel. Incel doesn't mean this McLovin with quadriplegics and he's working.
Darwin, are you a woman? Remember the guy who shot up the streets and he was like the head of the incels and he made videos on Facebook before he killed these people and then killed himself? Do you remember him? Do you know what I'm talking about, Darwin? The guy, it was this white young boy. He was in his 20s and he kept saying he was a part of the incel community and He didn't understand why women didn't like him. He wasn't even unattractive. He wasn't extra short. It looked like he had his life together. But when I tell you,
I've seen several of those cases. I was in the military. We'd had incels in the military.
Okay, no, but this was on the news because he killed people and then killed himself. All I'm trying to do is drive a point here. He is what I'm thinking about, right? When I think about those people, they look nice. They look like they have a chance until they open their mouths. He had no personality. He had no charisma. He had.
I think that was the episode on Law and Order.
You're talking about one specific person.
That was the episode on Law and Order.
No, it wasn't. I'm not talking about.
Listen, I don't disagree that you saw this movie or this article.
It's not a movie. It actually happened.
Well,
guys.
I'm not disagreeing that guy wasn't an incel. What I'm saying is that doesn't define all incels. Incels can be a guy that has he has a jawline. He doesn't have a height. It's his height. He can be 5'2", and that dude can be a fucking incel. He can have everything else hitting on all cylinders. Now, overwhelming amount of the time that he runs into a woman, he's going to get rejected because of his height. Yeah, there's other things that's going to happen. His eyes might be too far apart, or it fucking is just things that y'all are knocking guys for. These little ass nitpicking things y'all are knocking guys for. It's not giving them even any shot at getting into a meaningful conversation to see if you might consider for a relationship. Y'all are doing that, and I don't know why y'all are being disingenuous. They created a show called Pop the Balloon, and you were able to see it in real time. The guy had a white belt, not a black one. He got popped because he fucking had the wrong color belt didn't match his outfit.
And it's just like the man who popped the balloon because they didn't like the woman's shoes. Or they felt like her toe color wasn't cute enough.
I get it.
In those type of situations,
it can go both ways. Like what I'm saying is it happens more often than not.
It's not real life. That's not everyday life. You going to
how do you explain male loneliness? You think we just coming out of the woodwork, just incapable of holding conversations and
some men
having
are
necessary
not you. Some men are. And how do we know? Because we've met them. Okay.
No, they're not.
Can I get in there?
Y'all are raising these men.
Can I get in there?
That's what you're saying. Y'all are raising these men to be incompatible.
I don't have a boy. I haven't raised it.
Wait a minute.
Sorry.
Here's the thing.
I think you're making it too template based, right? So this is what I've seen, and you guys can help me, right? When you're talking to women typically speak from the highest place of desire. So basically, for example, you'll ask a woman if you met a man and he couldn't fly you first class, but she's used to flying first class, she immediately rejects it because she's speaking from the place of actual comfort. But to Ty's point, the reality is outside, women are dealing with normal people. Like, this is just what it is. If you put the exchange from male to female on an app, you're absolutely going to see them do what they always do. When you give women options of the highest level of what they desire, they're always going to answer, absolutely, I want this all the time. But the reality is their words will never align with their actions because reality cannot afford them that. I'm outside all the time. I see all kinds of dudes that got women that are respected, that are not making 80,000 or 200,000 or not 6'5". So I think that I hear what you're saying, Darwin, but that's just not a depiction of reality.
Well, when you say these women are speaking from comfort because they don't want to fly economy because I call that speaking from a place of hypergamy. They got a taste of something great, and they don't want to go back down to. They don't want to. They got the ride in the front of the bus. Now they don't want to ride in the back of the bus no more.
No,
it's sort of like what happened with integration and in the civil rights time. Once they got a taste of the white man's ice, they don't want to buy for the black man ice. It's a matter of hypergamy. That's all.
That is a complete mischaracterization of
not hypergamy. This is just what I've observed, and I've talked to tens of thousands of women over my lifetime. When you give them the option, best case scenario, worst case scenario, they always gonna pick best case scenario.
Well, there's a term for that.
What is the term?
I'm asking you.
What is the term for that? Female nature. That's the term. Like, this is just what they do. If you say this is what you can have, or you can have this, they typically are going to go for what they assume to be the highest level of value. That's just what I've seen them do.
True.
So,
wouldn't that be human nature? Because if you do the exact same thing with men and you give them the baddest of the baddest or the everyday woman, they're going to go for the baddest, right?
sure.
Unless
Yeah.
they can't. That's human nature. That's what people will do. But
Sure.
like you stated,
what makes
in
it what makes
everyday
it
life, that doesn't happen. You're going to go for what's around you and what catches your attention.
well, I wouldn't say it's human nature because when men is different. That's why we like to use the term hypergamy. So for men, what happens is guy's gonna go for the best thing, but he's gonna choose logically. He's gonna choose the best when he knows that he actually qualifies for, or he can actually obtain the best. Women, on the other hand, are gonna go for the best, even though they know they don't fucking qualify, or they're what are they? I'm gonna use Trev's playbook, punching outside of their fucking weight class.
But that's what I'm speaking to in a mind of women. From what I've observed, I'm not a woman by any means, right? That's how they depict reality. You're giving a woman the option to experience the best, and then expecting her to say, I don't want to experience the best, but you're giving me the option to do so. That makes no sense in my mind.
What it was, see, that's where I disagree. The woman is not given the option to experience the best. That is an illusion.
No, bro.
That is an illusion that she has the option to experience, but she actually don't have that option. And what a lot of guys in this space, and recipes to his soul, Kevin Samuels, his whole mission was to come in and course correct that ideology that was pushing the women, thinking that they actually can experience the best when they can't. They cannot have it all because a lot of them would just average at best.
Well, you're speaking of something different. I'm saying typically when men are presenting their arguments, they're presenting it in a very binary way. If you can fly first class, sweetie, or economy, which one would you prefer based on the type of man?
Keyword, if you can.
No, but the point is that you gave the option.
What I'm arguing that that isn't they think they have the option, but they don't.
No,
so they won't settle for anything less.
That's an irrelevant point.
So if you draw the parallel, they won't even get on a flight unless they can fly first class, even if they're fucking a shitload of seats in economy. They just won't even fly.
But again, I don't know if we're aligning here. If you're giving the woman the option, in my opinion, I don't believe it's fair to expect that she's going to pick it at the perceived lesser value. It's like if you switch it to men and you say, hey, I got tickets to the floor seats or the nosebleeds. Most dudes that like sports are gonna be like, give me them floor seats. Why? Because it's perceived higher value to sit on the freaking floor. I don't think that it's fair for us to say that when they pick the better option, being presented the better option.
Okay, so they were presented the better
Before y'all go down the road, can we get
Can he finish?
Hold on, what? Let me just land the same thing. Let's try to take it back. Let's take the analogies out of it because that's confusing things. Let's just look at the dating market, men and women. Let's just say the best option, or whatever you say, the fucking first class ticket is the top 10% man. The problem is that is not actually an option for them. But they think that it is an option, so they will negate any man that is less than, so they can hang on to the illusion that perhaps maybe one day they will get a shot at this option that they can't have. That's my whole point.
I think we're having two different conversations.
We are having two different conversations.
I agree with what you're saying. And I'll simplify it this way. In every metric, there's always a small percentage of something. I don't care what you depict. We're talking about economy based on first class. There's more economy seats than first class. It's always that way across all metrics. So basically what I would conclude is that when we're talking about the mind of women, presenting them with the ability to experience this greater air, they're going to pick that, period. That does not make them wrong. That does not make them wicked. That's just, like Ty said, human nature. And I'll land.
It actually does make them wicked if you look at the outcome of those choices.
Please spread the microphone around. Please.
Go ahead and talk to everybody.